That's for Art. Here I am again on Google Plus doing this live Hangouts thing so I can just upload it instantly. And on with me is Jerome Hebert. Jerome, we're getting a picture of your crotch. Like
I'm working on it. There we go. That's better, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so
I invited Jerome on because I wanted to introduce you to him. He is the other co-host, is on Wednesday and Thursday now on the Age of Fission radio show. He also interviews, we're sticking to the theme of the show, interviewing activists and people who are making a difference. And it may veer off from nuclearism, but it's always about like saving our planet and the whole idea of it. So I don't know how, he did an awesome interview last week. He's done the show a couple times. I want to thank you, Jerome, for joining me.
it's not a problem. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Yeah, well, great. Well, this is about breaking the nuclear taboo, which is what we're doing. And actually, I wanted to show people, I'm going to screen share with, I think I have to go in there first. Hold on just a second. You guys can actually see me. That's where we're going to go first. We're going to go to Southwest Research Information Center. We're not going to go on for too long, but what I really want to do is talk about this nuclear taboo that we are breaking. Like Jerome interviewed a good activist. I mean, I guess he's doing really great work, but this is the weird part. I've never heard of him, and I've never really heard. I guess this is kind of an insider. It's an elite kind of an industry here. We're screen sharing. Southwest Research and Information Center, SRIC, right?
Yeah, SRIC.org.
Promoting the health of people and communities for more than 45 years. Who was it that you interviewed? What was his name?
Gentleman's name is Don Hancock.
Don.
And he's been an activist since 1973 working on nuclear issues.
Yeah, so this is where I really appreciate people like that, and they know all this technical deal. But I can't get, how is it? Like these people, Beyond Nuclear, I've met them. I mean, like I interviewed Kay Dry. She's very sweet. She really understands all the nuclear. They're beyond themselves at how bad it is, and they, actually Kay Dry lives right next door to the Westlake landfill, like maybe 50 miles away on the other side of town in Missouri. They live in St. Louis. So this is the thing. This is what I don't get, even Beyond Nuclear. All these people are near nuclear facilities. How is it like this guy, 1971, Dave talked about this a little bit a couple of weeks ago about the old guard. Like these people are old. And did they do what they were supposed to do and stop nuclear? No, they didn't. In fact, we don't even know they exist. So that's part of the nuclear taboo. Do you get what I'm saying? This is why I'm showing people this. Huh?
I think part of the thing is that we now have tools available that they did not. We have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have the internet. To say in 1971 to 73, even into the 80s, when a lot of these old guard people were active, they were dependent upon mainstream media to get the word out for them. They didn't really have the internet. So the bottom line is we have these new, important, solid tools that allow us to reach literally millions of people all over the world. And we need to take advantage of that. And we need to bring some of these old guard people into the new tools, because like this man right here has so much knowledge.
Yeah, your interview with him was outstanding. You guys should hear your interview. Your interview was outstanding, Jerome, with him. Really great.
Thank you.
But we have to help you get a little bit more of a better sound thing going on. Hopefully we figured that one out. Well, we're going to try. I think you should use this venue. That's my opinion. I think this is a good.
How's the sound right now?
I think it's good. For me, it sounds okay. I guess we'll hear it when we get back up. But here's John Hancock, Director, Nuclear Waste Program. He knows everything about the nuclear waste. Navajo Community Liaison Linda Liaslu. You know what's really sad about this? These are communities, of these communities, Navajo Birth Cohort Study, Regional Liaison, Navajo Birth Cohort Study, Maria Welch, Monique Tosi. These are people who are, look, Russian Mongolian program. This is how impactful it is. Why is it? I'm going to stop screen sharing for a second because I can't. It's just taking me away from this. This is part of the nuclear taboo. What we know about nuclear is that there is no accountability. We can have all the studies in the world about all the babies that it's affecting, but they're not stopping it. And no one's taking it seriously. This is,
well, people aren't aware of it, is the bottom line.
And why not? Like these organizations, these guys are good people. You know what I mean? Like they're doing really great work. How is it that maybe what we need to do, Jerome, is start our own free press so we can like print copies and make our own newspapers about the nuclear stuff and mail them out to everybody. Because they can suppress it through the internet. They can suppress it through the media.
Suppress us on YouTube right now.
Huh?
They can harass us. I did indeed get one. I don't get many thumbs downs, but I did get a thumbs down from that Don Hancock interview. And I know that the reason is because that was an insider trying to divert attention away from it and discredit it. But if you're, well, the reason I call myself the Sane Environmentalist is because I approach things rationally and factually, and you can't really argue with that. And people like Don Hancock are old school activists. They are dying to get their message across, but they just have not had a medium to do so. Hancock was able to go on an hour the other day. He could have gone on for 2 or 3 hours if I would have just kept asking him questions. He just was so, he thanked me for the opportunity.
Have you booked him again for another interview?
Not yet, and I will, and I don't want to wear out my listeners.
He's really great. Maybe I could call him and ask him if he would interview. But see, you can ask him really thoughtful. The questions you asked were really, like today with Donna Gilmore, right? Donna Gilmore has run San Onofre Safety .org. That's her website, San Onofre Safety, SOS. Quite clever, right?
Yeah.
And she deals with, and you probably heard on my radio show. I mean, she talks to these people as if they're rational people. And for me, what they're doing is murder. I mean,
they are.
Beyond, we cannot just accept it. This is not like, well, we need to be civil and we have to be able to be acceptable in a court of law because it's the court of law, and we want to make sure we present ourselves right. And you don't want to say the F word because then nobody, especially if you're a female, you can't say that. I mean, honestly, it's beyond comprehension that we have to be Little Miss Prim and Proper while they're murdering our children. It's like, this is what really got me, because the whole news yesterday was diverting away from Traitor Trump all day long, the really catastrophic information for his administration that came down yesterday about they've been caught red-handed. And the Republicans, if they don't figure out some way to get these people out of office, we're not going to have a democracy. But so all day long, we were like diverted with this attention. Well, you're right. We are very close to not having it, but we're on an edge. We can actually demand it. I think that we're on, like, democracy is a fragile thing, but we can't just give up and go, oh, well. I mean, look, the nuclear taboo is identical. Yesterday I said this on this new Breaking the Nuclear Taboo. A guy, if the story about the church murder is right, a guy who was, the army convicted a man of bashing in a child's head to the point where it's life-threatening with a gun, as it turns out. They threw him in the brig for a year and let him out. That's all the punishment he got, was 1 year punishment in the brig for almost murdering an innocent child who happened to be a relative or a step-relative, you know, his partner's child. I mean, they don't take life seriously. What do they expect? These are the same people we're entrusting with the nuclear stuff. And we're expected to have to just go, you know, there's really nothing we can do. We just have to be nice about it. And, you know, educate the nuclear industry that we're not going to take it anymore. It's beyond comprehension that these are, I think that, what did Donna Gilmore say today? There were 52 organizations and counting in the country against nuclear. Is that the number she used today?
Yeah.
Something like that, 52 organizations. If we could figure out a way to network them in or something, I don't know. I think we need to build, what do you think, Jerome? Like,
I think that my theory is this: it's a 3-stage process. Stage 1, educate. You have to enlighten people as to the real facts in a calm way of the situation. This is what we have on our hands. This is what the results are going to be. Stage 2, organize. You mentioned, you know, we're pulling together some of these old school people, Donna Gilmore, Arnie Gunderson, etc. You, myself, there's Msmilkytheclown, there's many of us, and we need to pull ourselves together, organize, and then at that point, we can activate and start doing mass mailings, mass emails, mass phone calling. You know, we're going to have to at the same time. That's the way revolutions are conducted. And it has to be nothing short of a revolution. You know, that's, you know, it was a energy quote unquote revolution that got us here, and too cheap to meter, and them lying to the people for so many years. And of course people are going to trust the government, and look what's happened. Now the government, now it comes out, oh, they lied to us about all this, and this isn't safe, and this is leaking, and you know, when enough people start getting cancer to where it becomes obvious, well, then you can activate people. But first, it has to start with education. And I'm of the belief that the reason I call myself the Sane Environmentalist is because I'm not trying to scare people away. I'm trying to educate them and draw them in. You know, create a circle of trust, as it were. And through gentleness, we can combine together and then move forward to the bigger plan, which is to, you know, like I said, mass mailings, mass phone calls, mass emails. We can start using the internet. You know, if we got every single person who's an activist to go to their YouTube channel and start making videos, and then start sending links to those videos, and to the people that are supposed to be our representatives in our democracy, you know, which I question. I question if what's more important is the health and safety and opinions of the pundits important, or is the money important? Because that's what's going on, is the money is controlling everything, you know. And obviously, and I think one thing that will bring down the nuclear industry is it will just finally get too expensive. And when it does, well, that's when we move in, you know, and we have to, it's a war. We have to look at it as a war, and you can't approach a war in a haphazard, chaotic manner. You have to have an organized plan of attack, you know. And so that's my opinion. You know, I think that we need to just go forward, organize. We're educating now, organize, and then activate. You know, and through the internet, that's our tool. That is our biggest weapon, is the internet, because we can reach literally millions of people all over the world through the internet.
That's how I felt when I first met Kevin Lynch about the Post-Ignorance Project. I was very excited. I guess I'm cynical. There's feedback on your side. Something changed.
Well, I'm seeing you just fine. So
maybe I did something. Hold on.
Yeah, I think that we're both streaming just fine. That's not a problem. But what we have to do is remember that losing a battle is not losing the war. Okay? There's a difference between losing the battle and losing the war. You know, with Kevin Blanche, you lost that battle. With
I don't know
Beyond
if I
Nuclear,
lost it because Kevin's still doing his activism. He still has the Post-Ignorance Project. He still reaches a lot of people. He's got a message. He's got a manner that, you know.
But he's not part of our troops anymore.
Huh?
Okay?
What'd you say?
Troops. We're not able to organize and activate him. You know, we have to get everybody under the same umbrella in order to create.
Well, in the same way that we can't organize these establishment people. Like, seriously. I mean, I just think that honestly, here, I'm going to show you like this. Try to get these people engaged and getting the Westlake landfill people engaged, the Just Moms. Just get the Just Moms and the Coldwater Creek people talking to each other. They live in the same town and they're so pissed off. They're both suffering from, I mean, it's all radioactivity. One already had theirs taken out and they're healing their community. The other one is still at risk. But it's still, they're all Manhattan Project victims, right?
Yeah.
But they don't talk to each other. And there's communities across, look, the Native Americans are suffering tremendously with birth defects, sterility, all kinds, diabetes, all the things that you get with nuclear, right? And
yeah, well, who knows about that, though?
Well, look at, you know who does know? These people, retired Navajo translator, these people know. Look at this Navajo birth cohort study. They did a study of it. You know why?
Yeah,
because there's
they don't even have a link to it.
A study. Community environmental health specialists. These people know, but the question is, how is it do we get them to engage with the rest of
technically, the old school's not technically adept enough. They can do a basic website like that, okay, but they are not able to get it going, so to speak, you know, and that's why Don was so, I could tell he's a conservative guy emotionally, but he was extremely excited to be able to do one interview with me and then redo it after, I believe, somebody messed up with our Skype. And it was like, you could hear me just fine, but when he started answering questions, it would cut out.
Right.
And then it would cut back in right before he was done. So it was like somebody was sitting on somewhere in between with the mute button.
And man, I tell you, your questions were great questions. They were very good questions. I can't wait to hear the interview again.
Yeah, so, you know,
so your position
this
is
time
really
around, I
these
decided I'm going to do an end run around them. And because I'm clever, I'm new school, cell phone and recorded with a crappy little microphone. And yeah, the audio is not great, but the message is there and they couldn't stop it. You know, and the call did drop for a minute and I dialed him right back and I got him right back and we continued on. And so he got his whole message across through me. Okay, he wouldn't have been able to do that.
And this is their website, you guys, if you're watching our link here. Oh my gosh, we've gone way long. It's 8:49. We'll stop in 10 minutes. I had only intended to do a half an hour, but we'll stop in 10 minutes because, you know, I don't want to have too long on YouTube. It takes too long. But this is the whole thing. What we really need is, in Breaking the Nuclear Taboo, is for people to know about these different websites. And I will spare you my 2 cents because I have a sense of frustration. Beyond Nuclear does really great work. So does NIRS, N-I-R-S. I don't know where they're at. Westlake Landfill, the Just Moms. This is the EPA. You should go here to what the EPA says. And then you want to go to the Just Moms and the Coldwater Creek.
Yeah. And what we need to do is include all of these links in the video description.
Yeah, I will.
You know, and as well, we need support. You know, like I said, I'm working with the 10-year-old Logitech webcam for a microphone.
Oh, it's just the facts.
You know, it's kind of pathetic, but you know what? I'm able to wrangle the technology that I have to get my message across. And thousands of people a month get my message. They hear my words. You know, I don't care about funding. I don't monetize any of my content because it's not about money. Okay, that's what got us here in the first place, was it's all about money. Too cheap to meter, you know, and it was short-sighted. Well, yeah, we're going to come up with this waste, but we'll figure something out when we get there. You know, but have we and will we? No. You know, look at Rocky Flats. Look at, what's that site in Washington? The worst of them. The most contaminated spot.
Hanford.
Hanford,
Yeah.
the most contaminated spot in the Northern Hemisphere. You know,
It is.
And
that's
the
where they. That's where they just like were dumping the nuclear waste.
Right.
Did you see that video with them dumping the nuclear waste? Like, it's outrageous, the stuff that goes on. That Heidi Lambert grew up there. Her dad worked there. She comes on and talks about stories, and for her, it's a point of like real courage because she was trained to say nothing. Manhattan Project cities were built on secrecy.
Yeah, that's what also Santa Susana. You know, they basically, all those guys that were making six-figure salaries, it's like, you know what? Say anything to anybody, you're gone. You know, plus we'll get your reason at the same
Here's
time.
Hanford Challenge. These people at Hanford Challenge, if it wasn't for them, the Northwest would be way worse off. I mean, hats off. These people are awesome. I mean, I think it's that they don't have a lot of staff. I haven't quite figured them out, but they have done tremendous work in keeping the Northwest not as contaminated as it could be.
Yeah. You know, and it's an ongoing thing too. It's not, those tanks are still there. They're full of liquid and they are leaking and they have no idea what they're going to do with them.
Wow.
You know, just like Donna Gilmore saying, you know, in her interview today, she pointed out that a lot of the people, candidates, have not been educated. They don't even know. They have no clue. What do you mean they're doing what? They're doing what? You know, they don't even know. You know, and what they're being fed is they're being fed the line by the nuclear industry and by the lobbyists of the nuclear industry, which is like, nothing to see here, move along, it's all safe. There's, you know, like at the WIP there, the EPA said, nah, there's no radiation leak, nothing happened here. But, and then 10 days later, it's like, yeah, actually there was a radiation leak and 20 of our workers got internal contamination. Oh, and they took it home because we didn't actually tell them that they were contaminated. So it's in their cars, it's in their houses, their kids are inhaling it. Oh, well. Oops. It's, what did they say? It's okay to lose one person every 10 years to the poisoning. That is their level of accountability. You know, and our representatives don't even understand this.
Well, here we are on the.
Part of the education is writing letters to these people saying, "Did you know this and did you know that?" In a way that they go, "Well, okay, this is not a nut job. This is a scientific person, and they're giving me scientific information. This is not quote unquote fake news. This is real news."
Well, Donna Gilmore says
numerous
use
people
their
on my channel to tell me, "Hey, Jerome, you're real news. We appreciate that." You know, because you can't dispute the facts. You know, just like you were saying earlier on your interview, science speaks for itself. Can't dispute science. Won't happen.
Do you see what it says here on the Hanford Challenge? Advances accountability.
Hanford nuclear site that secures human health and safety, advances accountability, and promotes a sustainable environmental legacy. We're a little late for that.
Well, what's interesting about this is this is the Hanford Challenge. Now, this is what I mean. Oh, I'm gonna stop screen sharing because I think that's what causes the feedback at my end. So hold on.
Yeah, the audio is beautiful on my end.
Yeah, well, for me, I hear myself talking twice. I can't quite figure that.
And now your mic is muted.
I just saw that.
There we go.
Okay. That whole idea of advances accountability, that kind of is a thorn in my side. I don't think we need to advance accountability. I think we need to demand accountability. This is what we have. I'm done negotiating on accountability. I think this is the issue with me also with Trader Trump, but that's a separate thing. But this is why I'm going to do this again tomorrow night. And I hope I only do it a half an hour to my listeners, because I think an hour is too long. But I did have 2 people on, so it does take twice as long. I am going to be showing websites of places where people can go, and the NRC webpage and the EPA webpage and things like that. I'm going to come back on every night at 8:30 and do this for about a half an hour, because we do have to break the nuclear taboo, but challenging organizations to step up and get more vocal. I'm not buying that we're old school and we do things the old way.
No, we're the new school.
But we've got to get people. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do it, Jerome, but we're going to do it. We, the YouTube community, we are the Msmilkytheclown changed everything in my view. Did you ever see her earlier videos?
Yes. Awesome.
She changed how it was reported. One woman who decided to really get active because it wasn't being done made the whole movement, the Fuku fighter, everybody just went, oh my God. And she spoke for us. Her little clips were a lot of them have been taken down because they had copyright things, but man, they were hilarious. And she did speak for us, so.
Yeah, and Libby Halaby is another good one, you know?
Yes, Libby got her show started, I think, after, it all sort of started all slow. Nobody expected Fukushima to last to be honest, the fact that the governments have just kind of ignored it, and now they're trying to tell us it's all okay, and don't worry, we're just not going to measure the radiation anymore.
Yeah, and we need to link to the one individual.
Oh man, you're losing it. So let's hang up here. Let's stop the broadcast.
I'm seeing 5 to 7, 10, 11 millisieverts per hour on average background. One spot he had 179 millisieverts per hour.
Where?
Background. You can't tell because he doesn't use,
Who has 179 millisieverts?
Yeah. You sent me the link to him. That Japanese fellow.
Oh yeah, the people in Japan, right? Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody about that today, and they're like, "Well, you realize that's just such a low amount. I mean, that's like."
Okay, we're gonna do a show on how it accumulates. We're gonna figure this one out. I have a good graphic that we can show people on what it really means, but I'm going to end here because we're at an hour and I don't want to go too long.
All righty. Lonnie, you are a fighter. And remember, if you lose the fight, you have not lost the war.
That's right. Well, I don't want it to be a war. I refuse to talk in terms of war. I'm sick of war. We need to change the paradigm.
Our lives.
Well, we are really in a struggle for survival against people who want to murder us. So I guess that's a war.
There you go. It's us or them.
Us or them. So it's be us. So put your courage feet on, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, Jerome.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.